not be facing. We serve a God that is still able to do all things. If you got the Bible today, open with us to the book of Genesis. We're going to go back to the beginning. Book of Genesis chapter 32. Just be ready for the prayer for me. I was not too long ago out of the hospital. I got a little bout with a few little problems, but God's been good to us. He's been merciful to us. He's helped us.
Yes.
Getting stronger and stronger each and every day.
Hallelujah.
I've got a little coughing problem and stuff, so you know how that stuff goes around. Genesis chapter 32, we're going to start with verse 24. Stand for the way of God's word is good. When we get through, we may stand as we go to the Lord and pray. Genesis 32 and verse 24 says, and Jacob was left alone, and there wrestled with a man with him until the breaking of day. And when he saw that he prevailed not against him, he touched the hollow of his thigh, and the hollow of Jacob's thigh was out of joint, as he wrestled with him. And he said, let me go, for the day breaketh. And he said, I will not let thee go, except thou bless me. And he said unto him, what is thy name? And he said, Jacob. And he said, thy name shall be called no more Jacob, but Israel, for he as a friend hast thou power with God and with man, and hast prevailed. And Jacob asked him and said, tell me, I pray thee, thy name. And he said, wherefore is it that thou dost ask after my name? And he blessed him there. Jacob called the name of the place Peniel, for I have seen God face to face, and my life is preserved. And as he passed over Peniel, the sun rose upon him, and he halted upon his side. Therefore the children of Israel eat not of the sinew which is upon the hollow of the thigh unto this day, because he touched the hollow of Jacob's thigh in the sinew that shrank. Let us pray. Father, I thank you for your word. Father, I thank you that your word is already anointed. I thank you, Father, for this church, and I thank you for the people here. Now, Father, I ask that, Lord, you would hide thy servant behind the cross today. Father, that the words I speak be the words you would have me to speak. Father, that, Lord, your will be done today, that your Shekinah glory would fill this house afresh and anew, oh God. That, Lord, you would have your way in everything, Lord. That we would take to heart the encouragement that you would have for us today. We'll give you praise for what you're about to do in Christ's most holy name. Amen.
Amen.
You may be seated. In the book of Genesis, we come across the character of Jacob. You remember Jacob is the twin brother has a twin brother named Esau. Jacob and Esau were the sons of Isaac, who 20 years before this time, he had managed to steal from Esau. Jacob had managed to steal from Esau his birthright to start with, because Esau would come in with him. But as time progressed before this, Jacob had managed to not only do that, but he managed to connive and steal from Esau his blessing that was to be put upon him, because Esau was the firstborn son. And so in that day and time, the father would put a special blessing upon the firstborn son, and Jacob managed to connive and trick his father into giving him that firstborn, the blessing of the firstborn, instead of it going to Esau. And when Esau had seen that this blessing had been stolen from him, he made a promise that was overheard. He made a promise that when his father Isaac died, he was going to kill his brother Jacob. That's how angry he was. That was the hatred that was stolen. Rebecca, Isaac's wife, even for Jacob sent him away, or had Jacob or Isaac sent him away to be with Laban, and for 20 years Jacob had spent with his uncle Laban. He had worked for him, he had married his 2 wives, and through that process he's had 11 kids. The time has come now that God has appealed to Jacob and said, you need to go back home. It's 20 years later, and in the beginning of the chapter 32, we see as Jacob is beginning to go, and it is beginning to near the brook, that is to pass over Jordan, to pass back over into Canaan, that Jacob sends message to the header. It says, go and tell my brother I'm coming to see him. The messengers come back and said, your brother is coming, your brother Esau is coming, and he's bringing 400 men with him. And Esau begins to feel it, Jacob begins to feel it secretly, because he knows that his brother's coming to kill him. And at that, Jacob begins to make plans and stuff, but when we come to verse 24, I'm getting into my message here. When he comes to 24, it says, and Jacob was left alone, and there wrestled with man. There is a time and a day that we each have to get along with God. You know, I thank God for prayer partners. I thank God for people who I could call to pray for me. I thank God that I could call up certain ones, and I know that they will pray for me. But you know, and I believe Sister Shepherd even made mention of it in Sunday school, there comes a day and a time we each have to get along with God. We each have to get along and begin to pray ourselves with Him. We each have to get along with Him and pray until God will reach down and touch us. The scripture says that Jacob was left alone with God, and there began to wrestle with a man until the breaking of day. We don't know exactly how long that Jacob wrestled with him, but we must realize and understand there is a time in our hearts when we come against a difficult situation, that we begin to wrestle with God until God will come down and touch and bless us. There comes a time in each and every one of our hearts that we must get to a place that we're willing to say it don't matter what happens, it don't matter what might come our way. So there will be a time we need to get back to prayer. It's the day. If there's ever been a time that we need to get back to where we would get a hold of God and say, I'm not going to let you go until you meet an answer with me. It's in the day that we're living. We look around and we see everything that's falling apart. We look around and we see everything that's going on. Oh, friend, if there's ever been a time we need to get back to praying, it's today. Jacob was left alone and wrestled with a man. And verse 25, when he saw that he prevailed not against him, he touched the hollow of his thigh. And the hollow of Jacob's thigh was out of joint as he wrestled with him. And he said, let me go, for the day breaketh. And he said, I will not let thee go, except thou bless me. And I said, well, ago, there comes a time in our hearts we got to get a hold of God, there to hold on until God will come to us. There comes a time that we got to say, God, I'm not going to let you go until you change me. But I'm going to bring you real quick to verse 27. The man asked Jacob, said, what is thy name? And he said, Jacob. When Jacob was born, Jacob in the Hebrew means supplanter. It means deceiver. It means deception. When Jacob said his name, what Jacob was doing here was making a confession. Everything I've got in life, I've got through deception. Everything I've done in life, I've done by deceiving, by conniving, by being a supplanter. I've never done anything honest in my life, is pretty much what Jacob was saying. Everything I've gained through deceiving others. Sometimes through prayer, the reason, I believe the number one reason too many people today will not pray is because when they begin to pray, God begins to deal with them about things in their life they need to get under the blood. The number one reason that too many will not pray as they used to is because there is something in their life that is holding them back, and they know they need to make a confession of it, but they will not. They begin to just hold back. It's like Adam and Eve in our Sunday school lesson. When they hid themselves in the garden, they knew there was sin in their life. They hid from God because they thought that they knew the holiness of God. And even in our life too often, we hold on to things, not willing to let it go, and it will hinder our prayer life. The number one battle many times in our life is the battle we face with ourselves, that we've got to get self out of the way, and we've got to be willing to come to God and say, I'm going to hold on despite what happens. We've got way too many promises in Scripture of God answering prayer. In Jeremiah chapter 31 and verse 3, God gives an invitation. He says, call unto me, and I will answer thee, and show thee great and mighty things. And in James chapter 5 verse 16, we're told to confess our faults one to another, and pray one for another that you may be healed. The effectual fervent prayer of a righteous man availeth much. There is power in prayer, and if we could ever get to the place where we would there be willing to get a hold of God and hang on until God comes down and begins to bless and move, we can see it change.
Hallelujah.
We're living in a time and an age today. You look around. We got so much that is going on. We got you look at Washington, D.C., and I'm not going to try to preach politics. I think there's too much that's going on. But we got trouble in Washington, D.C. We got trouble in our own state. We got things that are going on. Have you ever believed we would come to a day and a time where people would have such a disrespect for God in His house that people would actually try to break into the house of God, to rob it or to steal it or whatever. Have you ever believed that we would come to a day and a time where God is put in the background? We're living in a time today where prayer is almost like an afterthought. It is almost, we got to a time today that you go and ask people to pray, and many times people will say, has it come to that? Has it got that bad? That ought to be our first response to pray. That ought to be our first response to begin to go to God. That ought to be our first response to get a hold of God as we never have before. That ought to be our first response to get a hold of God and hold on until God will move. In the back of the church I go to, we used to have a sign up there that says, prayer changes you, prayer changes me, prayer changes things. We say we believe God changes things, but yet too often we don't pray as we used to pray. I believe that if we would get back to prayer and begin to get back a hold of God as we used to, we would see things change like they were before. I thank God for the technology that we have, but friend, there is still power power in true prayer. There is still power when we get a hold of God as we never have before. Many years ago, back in the 80s, in a little town in Tennessee, there was an elderly pastor that had passed away. When that pastor passed away, he had a lovely wife and 2 lovely children, a boy and a girl. When that pastor passed away, that son who had been married and had some kids come up missing. Not long after the wedding, just took off. Nobody knew where he went to. Many of them was thinking that he had died. Many of them was thinking the worst and everything. But that mother, that his godly mother, his saintly mother, began to pray. Time progressed, time went by, still no word. Let's call him Bob, just for the sake of it. Still no word from Bob, but oh, that dear mother kept praying, kept holding on, kept believing God. As time progressed and years went by, and finally 7 years later, the mother was living with her daughter. The phone rang and it was Bob on the other end. He would talk to his mother. He would say, "I'm okay. I just called to let you know I'm alive. I'm okay," and everything. As time progressed and they continued to talk to him, they continued to press him to come home and visit. He finally gave in. He said, I'll come home and visit. But he said, "You need to know a few things." He said, I've rejected God. I'm no longer following God. He said, I don't want to hear about God. I don't want to know about God. He said, the lifestyle I'm in now, he said, I've rejected God. I'm going a whole different route. The mother said, "Fine, no, if you don't." She said, "I just want to see you." He come home and he visited. He was there for a week. He got so uncomfortable because that mother respected his vision. She didn't talk to him, but that didn't stop her from praying in her bedroom. Now I believe there's power when we begin to pray, and I'll cover that in just a minute. But when we begin to pray, I believe the very atmosphere will change when we pray. But you see, he had went off and he was living in the gay community in California. He had accepted that lifestyle. And as he began to visit, and he finally got so uncomfortable, he said, "You need to take me to the bus stop. I need to go home." He said, I'm not comfortable here." The mother said, "Son, it's killing, it's breaking my heart to know." She said, "Would you find sleep?" And she said, "Mother, I don't want to hear it. I refuse to hear it. Just find another one." They took him to the bus stop. He got on that bus and he began to go, headed back home. The mother who lived with her daughter got back home. The mother turned to her daughter, said, "Don't call me to go shopping. Don't call me to eat. Don't call me to do nothing." They had fixed them in the daughter's house. They had fixed that mother a little room, which has its own bathroom and everything in it. That mother said, "I'm going into that room, and I'm going to bombard heaven until I hear Bob has got saved." And she had went into that room. That daughter said she could hear that mother praying, calling out to God, praying in the spirit, asking God to set him free. I said that she could hear him, and it progressed into the night. The next day she could still hear her mother crying out to God, pleading the blood, claiming the promises. I say, God, you promised me my family into the next day, into the next night. And finally it progressed on into the third day. She could hear her mother praying, crying out to God, refusing to let go. And said, somewhere along into the afternoon, that telephone rang, and she picked up, the daughter picked up the phone. It was a brother on the other end. And he just said, I just called to let you know I just accepted Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior. I want you to know I thank God one more time. That daughter said, hold on, I've got to let Mama know. And about before she could get to the mama's room, that mother come out shouting and praising God, saying, Bob has just got saved. She's not told a word. They got on the phone, they began to talk to him. They asked him where he was at. He said, I'm over here in Texas. But when they got together, he began to tell his story. He said that he got on that bus, he was headed back to California. And said as time progressed, as they were going through Texas, he said something spoke to him and said, you get off the bus right here, right now. So he pulled the thing, he got off the bus, and he began to walk down a long country road. Thank God for our country churches. He said he went by a country church. He said something told him, go to that church. He said he kind of, voice told him again. I said, go into that church. He said he went into that church and there was an old country preacher standing up there. He said he come down the aisle. He said that preacher made him, laid hands on him, began to pray for him, cast devils out of him, and began to plead the blood on him. And he accepted Jesus Christ as his Lord and Savior right then and right there. Don't tell me there's no hope for those that have gone into sin. If we were there to get a hold of God and hold on until God comes down and moves. Friend, if we were there to believe that God is still able, there is nothing impossible for him. But we've got to have this tenacity of Jacob that we're going to say, I'm not going to let go until I know I've heard from you, and until I know you have reached down and touched me. I'm not going to let go until I know that you've done it. We've got to get back to where we used to pray, as we used to pray. We don't have all night prayer meetings anymore. We think we've got beyond it. We don't pray until something happens, but we need to learn the prayers, improving our prayers. We need to learn to pray until something happens, until the very atmosphere changes. If we could ever get to the place where we would dare to believe God for the impossible, if we could ever get to the place where I believe that prayer, true prayer, you cannot get into the presence of God and the very atmosphere changes. I believe something will happen. I've got a wonderful wife, I really do. I brag on her all the time. We've been married now for 10 wonderful years. She told me, now she was, I don't, because of my disability, I don't hold a perfect job, but I do try to help her around the house. And honestly, I could do more than I do, so I am ashamed of myself. I don't do nowhere near as much as I should do. But I do try to do some stuff around the house. I do try to clean and the dishes and wash the clothes. But she has told me, now if you feel led to pray or you feel led to study your Bible, don't worry about cleaning or anything like that. Especially if I'm preparing for a message. Now I'm going somewhere with this, I'm not trying to be silly here. Now let's say for just a minute, let's say for the sake of argument, I get caught up in doing something else. I'm on the computer, on Facebook, wasted all day, you know. Suddenly I look at the time and I see it's just about a few minutes till she gets home. So I shut off the computer real quick. I run and I get somewhere and start playing. And I hear the door open and I wait about 2 minutes. Oh, I didn't even know you're home. I've been playing all day. You know, the dishes ain't done, clothes ain't done. Just so. Man, that was easy. So next day or a few days later, I do the same thing. How long do you think it will be before she does? Something ain't right. A week? 2 weeks? I dare say she'll know the very day that she comes home, that very first day. Because honestly, I do not believe you could spend 8 to 10 hours in prayer. And I'm talking about true prayer. I'm not talking about sitting around feeling sorry for ourselves. I do not believe you can honestly spend 8 to 10 hours in true, honest prayer. And the very atmosphere not be changed. I really don't. I do not believe you can truly spend that much time in prayer and say an atheist come to your house and they not know something is different about that place. I'm trying to be very careful what I say. There'll be some short shootings and I don't make light of them one bit. What would happen? What would really happen if we saturated the house of God one more time? Got back to calling it a house of prayer. Jesus in my house shall be called a house of prayer. If we got back to truly praying, to where the Shekinah glory of of God would fill his house one more time. As someone come in intended to do wrong, the Holy Spirit would stop. And they would get saved. I've heard of it happen. I've heard of it taking place. I heard of a man that come into a church. It was a hit man. He come into the church. His job was to kill the pastor. God got a hold of his heart as the pastor was preaching. He come to the altar. He got saved. He took his gun out and gave it to the pastor. Said, I was sent here to kill you, but God got a hold of me and he set me free, and I don't want nothing more to do with that gun or nothing else to do with the people I work with. God can change, but it's only going to come as we get a hold of God in prayer. It's only going to come as we long to get a hold of God. It may not take all night praying, but then again it may. Sometimes to get this old flesh out of the way, say, God, I want your will. I've read what some theologians have said that Jacob worried all night long for nothing. You read on the first few verses of 34. When Jacob met Esau with those 400 men, Esau greeted his brother with a hug and a kiss. Reconciliation was made because Jacob got a hold of God. When we long to get a hold of God in the situation we're facing, when we get a hold of God, God will change things. Things will change as we long to get a hold of Him in a mighty way, in a special way, that God will still move by His power, by His word, as we long to get a hold of the horns of the altar one more time and pray until God comes down and moves. There is potential when the children of God begin to pray. God will bless and touch and move by His Spirit, by His Word, when we learn to get a hold of Him. Let me ask you a question today. What need are you facing today? What need do you have today that seems to be? What situation today are you facing that there seems to be nothing to? We're living in an uncertain time in the age. It's almost frightening to even send our children to school today, because we don't know what tomorrow holds. It's almost frightening to know that the situation, the circumstances that we're facing. But oh, when we begin to pray, prayer changes things. It changes me and you. It will give us the boldness to be the witness that we ought to be. It will give us the boldness to be the men and women that we need to be for God, if we only pray. There is an old song in the hymns that talks about what a friend we have in need.
Yes.
What peace, what troubles and trials we often bear, what peace we often forfeit. All because we do not give everything to God in prayer. I don't know how y'all usually close out the service. I'll see if we got two old-fashioned altars. Them are missing in many of our churches today. I want to invite you, whether you come to these altars or whether you make an altar with us, we got a little time yet before 12. Let's spend some time in prayer as my wife begins to play. Let's spend a little time in prayer. Come, if you will. Father, I thank you for your word. Father, I thank you for your promises. I thank you, oh God, that you're more than able to do all things. Oh God, that you would reach down and you would touch today. Father, that you would move the mountains that are in our way. Teach us, oh God, to get a hold of you afresh and anew. Oh God, that we can learn to come to you in a fresh way. Oh Father, that you would help us, Lord, to be the best we need to be. God, that you would implant in our hearts one more time. God, that we can be in a hold of you. Give us the tenacity of Jacob today, that we would dare to get a hold of you and hold on. That we will not let you go until you touch, until you change us, oh God, till you change our very hearts, our very souls, our very lives, oh Father. God, we ask for the days you would move by thy power, by thy word. Oh Father, touch thee that this altar's Lord. Oh God, you see the need, oh Father. You see the need, oh Master, by your power. Touch, oh Father, by your Holy Spirit today. God, that you would minister, oh Father. God, that you would move upon the lives today, oh Jesus. Oh Father, touch by your supernatural power. Oh Father, that you would move by your Holy Spirit today, oh God. God, that you would give us the hunger one more time. Oh, that we can love. thank you that your promises are yea and amen. I thank you that your promises are still true today. I thank you that there is nothing too difficult for you, oh Father. Hallelujah. God, I give you praise. I give you praise, oh Father. Your word is still true. Your word is still true. Oh, thank you, Master. Thank you, Father. You, God, that you would touch us now, Lord, from the top of the head to the soul of the feet. Father, that you would move in this situation. Move in this circumstance today, oh God. Thou art holy name. Thank you, Father, for it right now. Thank you for it, Father. Thank you for it, Father. Hallelujah. Hallelujah to thy name. Thank you for it. Thank you, Father. Thank you, Master. Oh, Father, I praise you today. Praise you today. Touched by your power, my touched by your power, my name. Thank you. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Father. Thank you, Father. Hallelujah to the Lamb. Hallelujah. Thank you, Father. Well, I turn this back over to Sister Mary. Does anyone else need prayer today? God is still in the miracle working business.
Yes, he is.
I believe it's more than ever. It has been a pleasure to be with y'all. God bless
Pleasure's
you.
ours. I speak for myself. I have been blessed, and I hope everybody else has been blessed. It's a wonderful, wonderful message. And we thank you for being with us today and sharing.